That is called Gyan Yoga. On the other hand, the middle 6 chapters, which is like the cream in between biscuit. And normally, when you give cream biscuit to an adult will eat the biscuit. Done. But how will a child eat the biscuit? The child will open and first eat up the cream and then eat the biscuit. So the middle 6 chapters, which is the Bhakti Yoga, is the very cream of this Bhagavad Gita. So we are going to enter into the cream and we are going to try to revise this cream. Of course, we are going to be going really fast and we will be just pausing by very essential topics and themes. Everything is important. Actually, एक एक शब्द जो भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने बोला ना, everything is important. But खास करके the really important stuff, that is where we are going to be pausing and we are going to proceed ahead. Otherwise, if you really want to get in-depth knowledge of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 chapters, please visit our Gita Art of Life course. You will be able to get a complete overview of the chapters. So here we begin. शुरुआत करते हैं. So this is revision session 2, which is chapter 7 to 12, session taken by your humble friend, Sanatan Dharmadas. We'll start with prayers. Please join me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhobhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam panghum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Nilatarinam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. Hare Krishna. So I'm really very glad once again, क्योंकि बहुत लोगों ने और वीडियो ऑन कर लिया है. So I'm very glad to see all of you, and definitely if you turn on your video once, I'll remember you. So I'm just going through all of them who are here for the session. Very nice. तो और लोग वीडियो ऑन करते हैं. चलो प्रभु जी हमको भी याद रखेंगे. वाह. Try me. Okay. Yes. Thank you. So it's really a feast to be sitting here and watching all of you, and I really wish kash हम लोग जो है we would be sitting in person and hearing these wonderful topics. But ऐसे Zoom से वो अनुभव मिलता है. It is as though we are sitting in person and only interacting. Yes, so I get a Vishwaroop darshan of all of you sitting here. तो ये एक विराट रूप है सबका एक साथ. I am able to view 25 of you together. और बीच में I switch my screen to see the others. Okay, so we proceed with the wonderful topic of the 7th chapter. So last time we had seen about the wonderful art of connecting to your BFF, best friends forever. इसके बारे में, because most of you आप लोगों को यही point अच्छा लगा था कि Krishna is our BFF. We are best friends forever. And how to connect to that best friend forever is through the process of chanting. How many of you tried out chanting? I would like to say, try किया था आपने? Wow, so nice. Some of you who didn't, कोई बात नहीं, आज try कर लेना, definitely. और कोर्स के एंड तक तो पक्का, उसके पहले तो ट्राई कर लेना. At least by the time as the course proceeds, definitely do give it a shot, and you'll be definitely benefited. So we saw the art of connecting just to that particular person, and that particular art of connecting is called as Bhakti Yoga. So ultimately, Bhagwan Shri Krishna mentions in the 7th chapter, 1st verse, what exactly is the goal of this Bhakti Yoga. He says, Maya saktamana partha yogam yunjan madashreyah asamshaya samagram mam yatha jnasasi tatshuno. Very simple yet very profound principle. It all starts with the point of hearing. Pehle suniye. Because when you hear, that time what happens? You get knowledge. When you get knowledge, what happens? You become free from doubts. You become free from doubts, what happens? You take shelter of Krishna. You take shelter of Krishna, you practice Bhakti Yoga. And when you practice Bhakti Yoga, your mind will be attached to Krishna. Maya Sakta Mana Partha. And that is the very goal of Bhagavad Gita, how to get your mind attached to Krishna. Otherwise, mind will be attached to all the dirty and nasty things of this world. Okay. So Krishna tells Arjuna that how fortunate are the wonderful students of the Gita art of inner peace. Yeah, many. Bhagwan bol rahe. Very, very fortunate, each and every one of you. Of course, those who turn on your videos are more fortunate. But still, you're all really fortunate because Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvata. Among thousands of people, one person may be interested in spiritual knowledge. Arey, theek hai yaar, let's go try out. What is it? Let us definitely. I should probably register for this course, or I should find out what is Bhagavad Gita. Thoda pata karte hain. Out of thousands, one, and out of thousands of such people who register, yes, who register, one of them may register Krishna in their mind. One of them may register Krishna in their hearts. So that's what happens. So you, all of you who are getting this particular knowledge, you are all really, really rare, and you're all very fortunate. So one big applause. Just as Dhruvin Prabhu was congratulating all of you, I would like to congratulate all of you for making it to this session. Thank you for coming. So Krishna says you're all rare, very rare. So this knowledge is also rare. And this knowledge begins with an MSc formula. Any science students here? Science students? Okay. Science. So MSc means Master of Science. Barabar? Master of Science. That's what this world teaches you. But this particular world teaches you only about one aspect of science, which is matter. हम जो भी पढ़ते हैं भौतिक पदार्थों के बारे में पढ़ते हैं. Our knowledge is quite one-sided. It's quite incomplete. So we only study this aspect, matter. But beyond matter, there is a superior energy. Matter is inferior energy. Spirit is superior energy, which is also to be taught as a part of science. So matter and spirit. And who is above matter and spirit? Above matter and spirit is God, who is the controller of both matter and spirit. So MSc, one who understands what is matter, Bhautik Prakriti, one who understands what is spirit, Chetan Prakriti, and one who understands the person who is controller of both these Prakritis, that is Bhagavan. That particular person is called as the real master of science, who knows matter, who knows spirit, and who knows the controller of both. He is the real MSc. So check kijiye. We all only know something of matter, unfortunately. So no worries, we're still getting knowledge. And if you see the Prakriti, it's the Prakriti who is controlling the Jivatma. Initially, after seeing this picture, I thought this is a guy who's been controlled by 3 wives. He has 3 wives. 3 patniyan hai. Yeah, संभाल नहीं पा रहा है. And they're controlling his life very much. Alag-alag saadi mein 3 patniyan controlling his life. That's what I thought initially. But later on, if you see, this is how Prakriti controls us to 3 modes. The yellow represents Sattva Gun, the red represents Rajogun, and the purple or pink, purple or this bluish black represents Tamogun. So these are the 3 modes who control the living entity, and thus one is prevented from surrendering to Krishna. One is prevented from advancing in bhakti. One is prevented from doing one's prescribed duty for Krishna. Because this entire middle 6th chapter talks about how to perform your prescribed duties for Krishna. So this Maya, you call na kitne logon ne sab suna hai Maya? You heard this Maya? Quite a lot. Are tum Maya mein ho, people say. Mo Maya ko chhod do. So we have heard of this many things. So Maya operates on all of us by these 3 modes. ये 3 गुणों के द्वारा. And natural question will be, करे कैसे हटाए Maya? How exactly do we destroy this influence of Maya? ये जो तारे है ना, this ropes, she's using us like a puppeteer is doing Katputli. So how exactly do we cut it off? How to overcome the influence of this Maya? That is the question we have. And that is possible by surrendering to Lord Krishna. What does Lord Krishna say? Daivi esha gunamai mama maya duratyaya. It is very, very difficult to cross over Maya. How many of you can swim across Pacific Ocean? Swimming करके. नहीं. जहाज से नहीं, एरोप्लेन से नहीं, swim करके. Captain, our Commodore Jairaj Chandrasekhar Prabhu will tell us, you cannot do that. Say he's holding hand. Nahi, mere se bhi nahi hoga. I can't do it. That's what he's saying. So it's very difficult. So what to speak of this? Maya, this Bhava Sagar is much, much more than all the 5 oceans put together. This Bhava Sagar is much deeper, much vast than all of these water bodies put together. So isko cross karna, bhapre, you will say impossible. Yes, impossible. So that is where Lord Krishna says, Mameva ye prapadyante. If you approach me, then I will personally come and I will take you out of this Bhavasagar. That is the only way to cross over Maya, by surrendering unto me. This is the process of surrender which is taught by Lord Krishna in the 7th chapter. Right? Surrender. Samarpanam. But we have to surrender before this life runs out. Because there is one process, deadline. Like every project, we have a project, our project is to surrender to Krishna. Like in every project comes with a deadline. Yes, the project comes with a deadline. So the clock is always ticking. We all don't know what is the deadline. Usually हमारे जो projects होते हैं, we know the deadline. लेकिन इस project का deadline पता नहीं है. So what happens at the time of death? Yes, at the time of death, Lord Krishna says, before the deadline, you have to surrender. And if you don't surrender, then what happens? Whatever you remember at the time of quitting the body, you will attain that particular state. You see this? This is this person who's lusting. He has a lusty consciousness. So he becomes a dog. This fellow has a glutton consciousness. Glutton यानी कि कुछ भी चबाते रहना, खाते रहना. This fellow becomes a pig. This person is giving charity, so he's going to heaven. And this person is worshipping Krishna, so he goes to Krishna. So if you think of Krishna, you get Krishna. You think of something else, you get that thing. So it is very important for all of us to surrender to Krishna. Samay rehte hue. Yeah. So definitely one who remembers Krishna will at once attain the spiritual world. Yes, but there may be a question how to remember Krishna at the time of death. So the best way to remember Krishna at the time of death is to remember Krishna while we are living. That is why this art of chanting Hare Krishna, we practice Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is a very practical way. It's a very practical way of exhibiting our surrender. It's a very practical way to remember Krishna. If you chant Hare Krishna nicely, you will definitely remember Krishna at the time of death. And those who remember Krishna will definitely go to Krishna's planet and the spiritual world. Yeah. And another aspect of meaningful life is taught in the 9th chapter. So far, till here, 8th chapter is completed. 8th chapter is completed. So apart from chanting, what can one do? So Krishna gives a very, very simple way of worshipping. See, worshipping Krishna is so simple. Bhakti Yoga is so simple. All you have to offer is Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. Krishna doesn't say, I want a kiwi fruit. I want strawberry. या फिर I want amras, आम चाहिए. कृष्णा से any fruit बाबा, जो भी फ्रूट मिले दे दो. अरे सॉरी बाबा, फ्रूट के लिए ना पैसा नहीं है, क्या करें? अरे कोई बात नहीं, पैसा नहीं है, फ्लावर दे दो. फ्लावर there's a lot of flowers in this vicinity. फ्लावर, अरे फ्लावर भी बहुत दूर है, तोड़ना कैसे तोड़ूंगा? सॉरी, नीचे गिर जाता है, it falls down. I'm not able to give you flower also. Okay, all right, give a leaf. Can you give me a leaf? Person is a leaf. Yeah, I would have given you a leaf, but I stay in concrete jungle. I stay in city. There are no trees. And Krishna said, "Bhai, pani de do." You can give water. And Krishna doesn't say, "I want Kent purified water, Aquaguard water." No, Krishna says water. Bhai, pani de do, I'll accept it. So Krishna is willing to accept love in any form. That's what he says. So this shows Krishna telling us Bhakti Yoga is so simple. It's a very simple way of attaining God. And Krishna will accept it, and thus we advance in the path of bhakti. Another practical way of all of us doing it, because every time we may not be able to do patram pushpam phalam toyam. So that's why Lord Krishna says yat karoshi. See, we all have to go for work. You can offer the result of your work to Krishna. Yat ashnasi, everyone has to eat. So whatever you eat, you can offer to Krishna. Yat juhoshi dadasi yat. Whatever you give, everybody has a charitable disposition. Well, you can offer the charity to Krishna, which means you can support the Krishna conscious activities. You can support the propagation of Bhagavad Gita. And yet tapasyasi. We all do tapasya. What tapasya we all do? How many of you have gone through the competitive exams? IIT, JEE, any NEET, kuch bhi ho, some kind of competitive exam. Very good. So you all know what is tapasya. Yeah. Such mein, you want to seriously prepare? No TV, no Netflix, no Amazon, no friends, no movies, no games. इतना सारा तपस्या. स्कूल से कोचिंग, कोचिंग से घर, घर से स्कूल, स्कूल से कोचिंग. This is what we have been doing. तपस्या है ना? So the same tapasya we can do. We can do it for Krishna. We can get up early and chant Krishna's name. Tapasya hai na wo? Yes, Krishna says, do it for me. So do the tapasya for me. Yes, so that is austerity. So whatever you do, you can do it for Krishna. Jo bhi kar rahe. That is the science of bhakti. So many a times people say Gita yani ki tyaga. You have to give up everything. But Krishna doesn't say like that. Krishna says, whatever you're doing, you do that for me. That's it. This is the art of Gita. Right? Hai na simple? Whatever talents you have, you can do it for Krishna's service. Do it as an offering to me. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna further says that I'm going to give you something deeper, by which you can see me everywhere. So Krishna describes about his 81 vibhutis. We see the sun everywhere, every day. We see the sun, the moon every night. And whatever beautiful things. So Krishna gives us 81 opulences. You can see Krishna through animals, in the form of animals. You can see Krishna in the form of birds, reptiles, forces, strengths, any opulence. So whatever beautiful you see in this world, you should understand it's Krishna's Aishwarya. That's why it's called Aishwarya Vibhuti Yoga. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam shrimadurjitame va tattadeva vagachatvam mama tejomsa sambhavam. So Lord Krishna says, whatever unique, whatever beautiful, whatever fabulous, whatever amazing, whatever powerful you see in this world, they are all nothing but my opulences. You see somebody very good, gifted singer, that's my opulence. You see somebody, a very magnetic personality, that personality is mine. So in this case, two things will happen. If we have some talent, we'll be humble. Ye mera nahi hai, Krishna ka hai. And if you see talent in somebody else, we'll not be envious, we'll not be jealous. We'll say that is also Krishna's. So this Vibhuti Yoga knowledge really helps us to get rid of both pride as well as envy, jealousy. We go beyond both by understanding that every wonderful opulence, Aishwarya and feature is Krishna's energy. It's Krishna's opulence. Bhagwan ka Aishwarya hai. See, amazing. There are 81 types of Aishwarya like this. And now Arjuna asks Krishna that, well, you have described very nicely about your Aishwarya, lekin mere ko pura Aishwarya dekhna hai. I want to see it with my own eyes. Of course, I showed you in the PPT presentation where we saw a picture of Krishna's opulence, but Arjuna really wanted to see all the opulence together. Because Lord Krishna said, this material universe, ये जो भौतिक जगत है, this is only 1/4 of my opulence. Arjuna said, ठीक है कृष्णा, उतना तो दिखा दो. At least show me that. उतना दिखा दो. 1/4 opulence देखना चाहते हैं हम. Of course, Arjuna never wanted to see Krishna's opulences because he doubted Krishna. अच्छा, भगवान है तो दिखा, prove it? No. He had full faith. But tomorrow, in Kali Yuga, बहुत सारे भगवान अवतार होंगे. You know what is India? India is that country where गली गली में मंदिर है और गली गली में रोज एक भगवान पैदा होता है. Some or the other person who comes up and he says, Bhagwan, there's one guy who claimed I'm Kalki. मैं Kalki अवतार हूं. And people started worshipping him. Then after some time, another person claimed. He said, I am Kalki. सर अच्छा तुम कल्की है, चलो कोर्ट में चलो डिसाइड करते हैं. सो बोथ द कल्कीज वेंट टू कोर्ट. देयर वाज अ कोर्ट केस एंड वन कल्की वन, द अदर कल्की लॉस्ट. ऐसा करके. सो द कल्की हु लॉस्ट, हिज वाइफ गेव हिम सोलास, डोंट वरी. देखा, बिहाइंड एवरी सक्सेसफुल मैन देयर इज अ वुमन. तुम टेंशन मत लो, पहले मैं फील्ड में उतरूंगी, मैं भगवती बनती हूँ, फिर तुम भगवान बन जाना, एंड हम दोनों मिलके जो है राज करेंगे. हरे कृष्णा. So like that, such kind of foolish things are going on. So Arjuna really, somebody is God. Arjuna wanted to prove it. He wanted to set a benchmark. सच में भगवान है तो विश्व रूप दर्शन दिखाओ. Show your universal form. So Krishna did it. In fact, Krishna gave Arjuna the divyam dadami te chakshuhu pashyame yogam aishwaryam. Because Arjuna, you cannot see the divya roop, Vishwarup darshan with your present eyes, with this charma chakshu. So I'll give you divya chakshu. And after that, he showed him the Vishwarupa darshan. So Vishwarup darshan contains all the features, the entire universal features of Krishna. And through this, Krishna proved it that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. देखिए विश्वरूप दर्शन, अनादि मध्यांतम अनंत वीर्यम अनंत बाहु शशि सूर्य नेत्रम, ऊपर से नीचे. Yes. And as soon as he saw Vishwarup Darshan, what happened? We expect something else. Arjuna said, Bhagavan, बहुत disturb हो गया मैं. I thought universal darshan will give me. Arjuna was really disturbed after seeing universal form. भाई नहीं जम रहा, कृष्ण stop it. बस देख लिया. I've had enough. अभी मुझे नहीं देखना universal form. I've had enough. So he was perturbed, disturbed, overcome by fear. And that is when Krishna shows him a 4-handed form and then finally 2-handed form. मतलब 4 हाथ वाला नारायण दिखा के उसके बाद 2-handed form. And then Krishna tells that this 2-handed form is Sudurdarsham. Sudurdarsham means this is the rarest form. So you need to understand the whole purpose of people say my favorite chapter is universal form, 11th chapter. क्योंकि कुछ बड़ा दिख गया. No. The purpose of universal form is to show that Krishna's 2-handed form is much, much more superior than even the 4-handed form and the universal form. If universal form is here, 4-handed form of Narayan is here, Krishna's form is here. He says, this is my superior form. That is the science we learn when we read the Bhagavad Gita. This is Sudurdarshan. Arjuna, the 2-handed form you're seeing is my best form. There is no form higher than this. This is the rarest. That's the science we understand from 11th chapter. Yes? Okay? And what is the way to see this 2-handed form? So Krishna says, Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya ahamevo vidorjana yatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. You will be able to see my 2-handed form, definitely, each and every one of us. If you have Ananya Bhakti. So see form, अरे तो बड़ी बात नहीं थी. See, seeing Krishna is not something which is very special. Duryodhan, Shakuni, Kams, Shishupal, Dandavakra, Dushasan, all of them saw Krishna. But seeing Krishna means seeing with love. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilaukeyanti. Seeing Krishna with the right conception that he is my loving master, he is my loving God, he is my loving best friend. To see with that consciousness, with that outlook, actually is the real vision of Krishna. That not everybody had. Arjuna had, Pandavas had, the Vrindavan Vasis had, Dwarka Vasis had, Mathura Vasis had. Very few of them had. Not everybody. Others all thought, yeah, he's a handsome boy. Yeah, well, he's a magician. He's a good politician. That's what they saw of Krishna. They never ever saw Krishna as somebody special. Because that vision has to be gifted. But that comes through Ananya Bhakti. And the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita speaks about the Ananya Bhakti. So before going to Ananya Bhakti, Arjuna clarifies very clearly, hey Bhagavan, आप बताइए, should I worship Virat Purush, Brahma, or should I worship 2-handed form? And Krishna very clearly says that Maya Vesha Mano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopeta Steme Yukta Tamomata. So Lord immediately replies very clearly that you have to worship my personal form. See, this is the Ratsuya Yajna. Everybody is worshipping personal form. In Ratsuya Yajna, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he is doing Agra Puja. Here is Bhishma, here is Brahma, Narada, Shiva, all have come. All great personalities have come here for the Ratsuya Yajna, and they are least bothered about Yajna. There are mantras going on. Asma Devaya Vishnu Indra Swaha Idam Namama. Like that, Yajnas are all going on, but they are all looking. They didn't come to see Yajna. They didn't come to see Indraprasth. They came to see Krishna. Everybody was talking about Krishna. In that Yajna. सबको तीनों लोगों से आए थे. स्वर्ग लोक, भूलोक, पाताल लोक. Everybody came. From Tino Lok, people came just to see Krishna. Topmost planet, Brahmaji, he also came just to see Krishna. Shiva, with his snakes, he came just to see Krishna. See how beautifully they see. So this is the highest worship. Yes, that is a... On the other hand, if somebody goes for impersonal Brahman, Klesho Dikatarastesham Abhyakta Sakta Chetasam. Path of Brahman is like this. Very, very complicated. On the other hand, path of devotion is straight route. So path of Brahman, at last you will achieve Krishna. Is this nose? No. Is this nose? No. Is this nose? No. Is this nose? No. Is this nose? Yes, got it. So this is called path of impersonal Brahman. At last, bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan man prapadyate. Itna time waste ho jata hai. On the other hand, bhakti is direct. If you see what happens to person who worship impersonal Brahman, klesho adhikata stesham, you will get adhika klesh, you will get lot of pains and miseries. It's a very painful path. And avyakta hi gatir dukkham, and even the destination is also very painful. So kyun karte ho? Bhagavan says don't do it. On the other hand, anybody who just accepts the path of bhakti, Krishna says teshamaham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami na chirat partha maya veshita chetasam. Anybody who accepts me in full devotion, I come and pick that person up from this ocean of material world and rescue that person. Yes. So now bhakti is so easy. Bhakti is very simple, it's very practical. Then what makes the surrender unto Krishna very difficult? What makes us our doing of bhakti very difficult? That will be explained in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Hare Krishna, which is tomorrow. So successfully, in half an hour, we have completed discussing 6 chapters. All right. Whew. Swift journey, na? Badhiya ekdam. Zzz karke express journey ban jao. Simple cheese. The 7th chapter speaks about hearing and surrendering to Krishna. 8th chapter speaks about you want to surrender to Krishna, practical ways to remember the Lord by chanting. 9th chapter says that everything you do it for Krishna. There was one song, very famous song. I'll not name the artist. People used to hear. Everything I do it for you. That is the song. But actually, everything you do, you should do it for Krishna. That is the real meaning of the song. That is the 9th chapter. And 10th chapter, you want to increase your appreciation for Krishna. You want to see Krishna everywhere. So 10th chapter teaches that how you can see Krishna in the sun, in the moon, in the light, in the sky, in the water, in everything. In the best of people, in the best of things, in best of everything, you can see Krishna. And if Krishna is all pervading, then can I see Krishna in the universe? That's the 11th chapter, universal form. How this universe itself is a energy of Krishna. Ekam shena sthito jagat. And that's a way in which you can distinguish between Krishna and the unscrupulous upstart rascals who claim themselves to be God. We can discriminate. Yeah. And the 12th chapter clearly says worship of Bhagavan is the highest and worship of Brahman is painful, it's headache. You get a lot of headache. On the other hand, you all knowingly, unknowingly have already worshipped Krishna by the process of hearing. So your bhakti is begun. Some of you, your bhakti began 1 year back. Some of your bhakti began just on Wednesday. Yes, by hearing about Krishna. Very simple. And by that way, Krishna will surely come and take you out of this Bhavasagar. But still, what makes that surrender difficult? That is something we will discuss from 13th chapter and beyond, which is tomorrow. Over to Dhruvin Prabhu.
Thank you so very much, Prabhuji. We are really grateful for such a smooth journey for ours in understanding the Bhakti Yoga from these chapters. Very first, I will be starting with the chat. So you all can type in all your questions that you wanted to ask with respect to the previous one or this one. So that's all that. And yes, once again, we have done the yagna, that how Prabhuji had explained last time, and this time also starting with our journey. And we are really excited, Prabhuji, to join it. So a couple of previous questions that Priyaji had asked, that Prabhuji, can you please explain the Prakriti and material world, how these two are different, or what basically about what these two terms mean?
Yes, material world is actually the hardware. Prakriti is the software, the operating system. And the operator is Maya Devi. That's the connection. Abhi ye kisi technical person ko samajh mein aaya hoga. I'll explain it in simple words also. Material world is a physical feature. The Prakriti, what we talk is the 3 modes which is operating this material world. They are the operations in this material world. Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. And Maya Devi is the operator of this material world. So there is machine, there is operations, and there is operator. Machine is material world, Operations are the three modes, Prakriti, and the operator is Maya Devi.
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नम्रता जी की ओर से है. वे पूछते हैं कि प्रभु जी, हाउ आर यू एबल टू रिमेम्बर ऑल दीज श्लोकास बाय हार्ट, और इफ यू कैन सजेस्ट, इन अदर वर्ड्स, इफ यू कैन सजेस्ट अ वे फॉर अस आल्सो टू लर्न दीज श्लोकास एंड रिमेम्बर देम like
Yes. Actually, personally, how I remember shlokas is I understand the meaning of shloka, understand word to word meaning, क्या है, एक एक शब्द का अर्थ समझता हूँ, and then after that I use the shloka in my classes to teach. I use it, I quote it, I use, because you don't use it, you lose it, we say, right? तो उसको जितना हो सके यूज कीजिए, अपने आप आ जाता है. I don't do anything separate to remember shlokas.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Next question is by Saurav ji. वे पूछते हैं कि apart from Sanjay and Arjuna, who all other had this divine vision of Vishwarup Darshan?
Oh, it is said, Prabhupada writes in purport very clearly that there were many more devotees throughout the entire universe. They all got divine vision. Even Devatas got. Devatas also, they see and tremble the universal form. So Devatas had, the people in the upper planetary systems, they all had. And many more devotees in other universes, they also had. So many got vision.
Okay. There is a name, but A is only written. So you can just write your name also, Zoom, so we can call it you by your name. Prabhuji would also love to hear your name. So unka question hai, if you can brief the today's class in 5-10 sentences, which I guess you have done, but if is there something, another crux that you have to offer it to the audience?
I'll give it within 5 words. Do Bhakti by chanting Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Roji, for such a smart and crisp instruction for us to follow. Next question is by Rahul Rajwani ji, that if one has lived a sinful life throughout and he remembers Krishna and just at the time of death, will he go to Supreme Personality of Godhead or not?
There's an example also in Bhagavatam. His name is Ajamila. There's an example of Ajamila in the Bhagavatam whose whole life was sinful. But his child's name was Narayan. So he called out Narayana. And somehow he remembered the form of Lord also while chanting Narayana's name. And thus he was saved from Yamdutas, and he got another chance to do bhakti and went back to Godhead. So it is possible. But that last thought is, please don't expect. We should never ever expect that aisa grace aayega. We should prepare for the last moment. See, Rabindranath Tagore got PhD. He wrote Gitanjali. He got PhD while sitting in his house. कितने लोगों को घर बैठे बैठे PhD मिलता है यहाँ पे? No. We had to go out to the university, apply for apprenticeship, get a guide, and keep working hard lifelong. फिर 3, 4, 5, 6 साल बाद मिल सकता है PhD. मिल सकता है. There's a probability. There's no guarantee. So घर बैठे बैठे PhD, we are not Rabindranath Tagore. Similarly, we should not expect घर बैठे बैठे mercy मिले. We should earn for it. Yes.
Next question is by Himani ji. Prabhuji, if a person in family is going through depression or something, and he or she is feeling not capable of achieving or doing anything, and feels lower than others for himself or herself, how can we help that person through this knowledge and wisdom of Gita and other Vedic literatures?
Definitely. If you see the journey of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was also feeling very low in the beginning. He was having a very low self-esteem. He was not confident. He had weakness of heart. But when he got knowledge, see, knowledge is like that torch. If you go to a dark room, your movement is very slow, very uncertain, because you don't know what is there. But what is the first thing we do when you go to a room? You turn on the light. अब जैसे ही रूम में जाते पहले लाइट ऑन कर देते, क्यों? अंधकार से बहुत डर लगता है. So similarly, you enlighten the person with Bhagavad Gita, the person will not just understand God, you will also understand yourself. Right? सब समझ में आ जाएगा. यस्मिन् विज्ञाते सर्वमेतु विज्ञातम भवति. When you know Krishna, you know the signs of Krishna, you know everything. So definitely the person will come out of ignorance. Hriday daurbalyam, that weakness of heart will go away when you come in contact with knowledge.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhuji. Next question by Soham Dalalji. A very interesting question. That how to be detached from the results of karma and do our work?
You can only be detached from your work from the result of your work when you offer the results to Krishna. Because jab tak you don't offer the result to Krishna, you will not know, you will not feel, you will not understand, you will not be aware that this is for Krishna. Yes. Just like I'll tell you a simple version. There was a lady, Mataji, who used to dress the deities, And while she used to dress the deities, Radharani, she used to think, okay, I'll dress my daughter like this. She used to remember her daughter. And then after several years of serving the deities, then what happened? Situation reversed. When she used to dress her daughter, she used to get ideas, I'll dress Radharani like this. Got it, no? So you serve, your mentality changes. You understand that my whole art of dressing is actually to please Krishna. Similarly, when you give your wealth to Krishna, you understand this is not my wealth, this is Krishna's wealth. I'm a servant who is getting the remnants to live. Yeah.
So next question is by Meena Mishra ji. कि प्रभु जी, in which chapters that ABCDE comes? जो आपने previous इसमें भी बताया था.
ABCDE is actually doesn't just come in Bhagavad Gita. You have to take it from the entire Vedic Shastra, from the entire Veda base, we call it. It's a quintessence of everything. I can tell you where all A, B, C, D, and come. A comes, okay, you want shloka number? मैं shloka number दे सकता हूँ आपको. A will come in Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter 9th verse. B will come in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter verse number. It is a section actually. You can refer from section number 70 to 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. This section it will come. B books. Bhagavad Gita क्यों पढ़नी चाहिए? भगवान खुद बोलते हैं. C for chanting 9.14, 9 chapter 14th verse. D for prasadam, diet 9.26th verse. E for engagement 9.27. So like this ABCD is covered in Bhagavad Gita. But it's there in the entire Vedas. This is the essence, ABCD. The 5 practical things to do.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So next question is by Divya Shruti ji. वो पूछते हैं कि कैसे गुरु को पहचाने हमारे स्पिरिचुअल डेवलपमेंट के लिए. पहचाने.
I've given a CD bar talk show. It's called Identifying Divine Guide. I guess somebody in the technical team can help me out. It's Identifying Divine Guide. CD bar Prabhu ji ke saath. 1.5 hours I've discussed how to identify Guru. It's a very deep science. So you can refer to that podcast which happened on Hare Krishna TV. I guess one of you will definitely put the link. कोई डाल दीजिए link. सीधी बात प्रभु जी के साथ Identifying the Divine Guide. So you refer to that section. You'll definitely we'll put it in the group. You'll definitely know the art of accepting a guru. Who's a guru? Everything is mentioned there.
So Divya Shruti ji, you can just wait for a chat to come. We have really wonderful participants and really helpful. They will be giving you with yes, definitely. We have such kind of great family that has been nurtured here. Next question is by Sneha K. Chandani ji. वो बताते हैं कि जनरली उनका प्रेइंग का रूटीन बहुत अच्छा चल रहा था, but because of this January and cold seasons, his sadhana is getting affected or something. So how can he make herself strong so that his sadhana doesn't get affected because of these changing seasons or whatsoever?
I'll give you homework. The homework is from Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 14th verse. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shita ushna sukha dukkada agama apaino anityas tam stitikshasva bharata. In this particular shloka, Lord Krishna tells very clearly the situations are temporary. Whether it be good or bad, situations will come, stay for some time, go. Agama apaino anitya tam stitikshasva bharata. But you have to stick to your prescribed duty. And 2.15, 2nd chapter, 15th verse will give you a secret. That a person who can tolerate these temporary circumstances and go on in life with your chanting, Yam hinam vyatayantete purusham purushashava sama dukkha sukham dhiram somrtatvaya kalpate. The result is amazing. So Lord Krishna tells you, meditate. See, हमें क्या मिलने वाला भक्ति करने से? Meditate on the end goal. So amrtatvaya kalpate. We're going to get this amrtatva in the form of Krishna, Krishna consciousness. That wealth is something which you're going to get. So for that, tapasya करनी पड़ेगी. Why? Again, हमने तपस्या, for the example we give IIT, JEE aspirants, GATE aspirants, CAT aspirants, उन सबका जो है हमने example दिया. So what are these people doing? These people really do तपस्या. Why? चलो IIT में सीट मिलेगा, फिर हम लोग IITians बनेंगे, अच्छी जॉब आएगी, अच्छी बीवी मिलेगी. What? They meditate, right? They have a lot of hopes. So by meditating on end goal, वो end goal को meditate करते हुए these people they do. So that is material, फल की इच्छा करते हुए. But to desire for Krishna is not material. वो बिल्कुल शुद्ध चीज है. We have to desire for Krishna only, nothing else. That's very Bhagavad Gita. Okay, Sneha ji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I guess we have got a last question for our today's session itself by Aditi Gupta ji. She wants to know about the Bhavsagar. If you can explain the Bhavsagar and its characteristics and all. What is it actually?
Bhavasagar is ocean of material world. Ocean of material world means there is birth, there is death, there is old age, there is disease. The four problems of life. There is Adhyatmik Klesh, there is Adi Bhautik Klesh, Adi Devik Klesh, meaning miseries of the body, miseries given by others, and miseries given by material nature. So the suffering is one word of Bhavasagar. Dukkha, suffering. Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. That is called Bhavasagar. There is also Ananda Sagar. That is spiritual world. Bhavasagar is like salty water. Ananda Sagar is like rabdi. How many of you love rabdi? जो लोग हाथ नहीं खड़ा कर रहे आप लोगों ने कभी खाई नहीं है, खिलाता हूं मैं आपको एक दिन. We just recently there was my students had prepared rabdi with jalebis. What मेरा इच्छा हुआ आप सबको खिलाऊं. I feel like feeding all of you with this. So rabdi with jalebi they had fed. So Bhavasagar is like salt water. पी सकते हैं. Even if we get inside, we feel like how to get out. On the other hand, Bhakti is like rabdi ka sagar or sweeter than that. And इसके अंदर क्या है? Wonderful cashews, badam, kishmish, and all these wonderful tasty things are also there. So you not just can swim there, you can even drink. You can drink, swim, stay there very nicely. So from this salt water, Bhavasagar, we have to go to Bhavasagar, Bhakti Bhavasagar. That is where we have to get transported. Okay, talk time khatam.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Close here. Any of you having more questions, you can join me at 8 p.m. sharp tomorrow. And Pakka promise, meri side se I'll be here at 8 p.m.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
definitely like to encourage each and every participant. We want to thank you, and just a humble suggestion, a request to please join tomorrow at 8 p.m. and come up with all your questions from the first and second session, or even if you have anything else in your mind, Prabhuji is always available